Hello and welcome to my hobby bench once again. So, as most of you know, I don't really specialize in product reviews. I have done one or two in the past, and I'm using that term on this video only because it just seemed most appropriate. But what I've got on the table here is a couple of propellers that have been given to me to review or analyze or critique, I guess you could also say, from a really nice young man who lives in the Ukraine. Now, Artem is his name, and he has founded Sky Spirit Custom Propellers. And that's what I've got here. So we're going to talk about wood propellers today. And Artem is a really nice, articulate man. He sent these to me specifically so I could do some testing with these props and to show them to the world. So, you know, I don't use a whole lot of wood propellers in my engine runs, and I can't really give you a good reason as to why. Probably one of the reasons is they look so nice that I don't want to get them all dinged up. And for a lot of four-stroke engines, having heavier propellers like the APC or the master air screws provides a bit more flywheel action, and it gives us a nice low idle, which is really nice for my videos and showing the idle characteristics. But as I said, Artem and he and his company, he's got a Facebook page, which I will link in the description of this video. He does not have a website, but he used to work for an aircraft propeller manufacturer, and he departed from there and said, you know what, I'm going to do this myself. So I'm going to show you some of these props. He sent me these two. One is a 15.6 and the other is a 10.5. So what Artem has told me about these is that these are custom propellers. He will make sizes and pitches to your specifications. He's not a mass producer of propellers, and he has also sent me some pictures of his manufacturing process. He uses CNC machining, and these are all beechwood, which is basically what I have found a lot of other prop manufacturers are using. Why manufacturers use beechwood for propellers, I don't think I can answer that, because I can tell you this, they're very lightweight. Even this big 15.6 is lightweight compared to what a master air screw, nylon or whatever those composite propellers are, and even an APC. They're very lightweight, but they're just so beautiful. I mean, just look at it's CNC machined, milled out, and then they put in a lacquer, an epoxy lacquer. They're lacquer impregnated, or I'm sorry, let me see here. I'm looking. I've got some notes here that I was looking at just to make sure I got some things straight here. I can provide more information on that because right now I'm kind of losing that thought. But these props are really beautiful. Now, like I said, I've got a 10.5 and a 15.6. So, how am I supposed to review these? Well, obviously I can show and tell and compare them with other propellers, which is what I plan on doing here. I've got several other manufacturers of wood propellers here that we will compare and contrast them with. Now, these are balanced throughout the process of machining and coating. They are balanced several times, but Artem still says, well, you might want to check them anyway, which is always a good thing to do anyway. Always check your propellers balance. Now, I'm only familiar with balancing them this way. I'm not really too familiar with hub balancing, but we will see an example of what I believe is hub balancing here shortly. So, as I said, he ships these from the Ukraine, and it's really affordable shipping. He said it only costs him $10 US dollars to send these to me from the Ukraine, so that's really not bad. So you're talking about potentially a price for this prop would be like $14, and I don't know if that includes shipping or not. It might. I don't know that it does though, so it might be $14, it might be $24 for one of these. And then of course he's got a listing price here of $20 for this. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure if that includes the shipping. I have a feeling it does not, because I mean, beechwood can't be cheap. The process can't be inexpensive, so I mean, people have got to make a living somehow, and for me, these things are just beautiful. This would be kind of a shame to actually put on an engine and risk damaging it, but that's exactly what I've told him I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a comparison, at least with the 15.6. I believe I've got another 15.6 wood propeller and definitely have APC and maybe even master air screw. So in the future there will be test runs with these props, and all I can really do is take RPM readings, because as many of you know, for several years I had a static thrust set up on my bench, on my test stand, but I no longer have that anymore. So that would really be the better way to give a better evaluation of the prop. I mean, obviously you can maybe kind of do a little bit of judgment by sound, but RPM is about the best way we're going to get. Maybe low idle, I don't know. But I don't really have the means to do any real professional testing here. What I can do is I can give you what we all have an abundance of, which is an opinion. And my opinion looking at these is that they're incredibly beautiful, very nicely made, and I am going to do some prop balancing here just to see what they balance out like. So the other props that I've got here to show and tell with is another brand that I've had many of in the past, and it's a Zor, and another wood propeller. And I'm not sure where I got this prop. I'd never heard of it until somebody sent one to me. It's a Falcon, and this is what the packaging looks like. Obviously these are not all the same size, so I can't do a direct comparison, because this Zor is a 16.6. This Falcon is a 13.8. But the Falcon prop is a nice prop. I mean, obviously I love Zor props. Don't get me wrong, they're beautiful, and I use them. I've used wood ones quite extensively, depending on the size and the engine I need a blade for. So all of these look really nice. These props that Artem sent are unbelievable. They are just absolutely beautiful. And he can, when you customize, you can have these custom made to different colors on the tips also. So when you're ordering, you just say, hey, I want this diameter, this pitch, and I want this tip color. I don't know how many different tip colors he offers, but he does say that they do have different colors for the tips. So that's what we're going to do here. So right now I'm going to set up another camera here off to this way and set up my Robart Precision balancer. This is a throwback device. I'm going to set that up here, and I'm going to balance Artem's props, and then we will maybe throw one of these, the Zor and the Falcon, on there also. Now I'm not going to sit there and let it sit there and do all its thing. I'm just going to set it there, tap it, let it do its thing, and then I'll shoot some video as it's stopped, because we all know that this can get to be kind of a long process, and you know, that would be rather boring to see. But talking about the hub balancing, if you look at on the backs of Zor props, sometimes you'll see a dot, sometimes you'll see one dot. Here's another one that's in a package. This one has 2 dots. To me, I believe that's how they hub balance. They balance the hubs of these. What they do there, I don't know, but it gives a good indication of that hub has been balanced. Now, the only thing I would say about this prop right here that is maybe a little bit of a detractor, both of these, is that I love how the diameter and pitch is very clearly marked. Very clearly marked. It's very easy to see. There's so many of those master air screw black ones now that you just can't read, or it just is illegible. The location is okay if it's a display prop, but it might not be ideal if you're using not a full spinner, but like a big spinner nut, because it could end up occluding that. I like where Zor puts theirs, because it's right on the hub, and even if you have a big spinner nut, you'll still be able to tell what size blades you've got going on your engine. So that's the only thing I would say. This Falcon prop, I don't know anything about these, but this one is marked here on the hub, but it's very, very faint. It looks like it's just laser cut in there, and it's not painted, so you really have to get up close to be able to see that. In fact, I don't even know if that's laser cut, because if it was laser cut, it would probably have dark in there from the burning of the wood. So I'm not sure how they do that, if they press it or stamp it or what. Now, I'm sure there are other props that I could have, wood props that I could have brought out here, but in my opinion, these were the ones I had on hand, and of course these nice finished ones. Master Air Screw makes wood props also. You know, there were tons of wood props made long ago, but I don't know that too many of them are still made. These are ones, at least the Zor, that I know are still made, and they're made out of beech. Don't know anything about Falcon. Feels like it could be beech wood also. But anyway, so for phase 2 of this product review, we'll call it that, I'm going to set up my Robart high point balancer and put all of these props on it and see how balanced they are, because now this one has been used. This one was given to me by Chuck, a friend of mine. It's been mounted, but I don't think it looks like it's ever been balanced or touched up at all, so it should still be stock. And of course this one just came out of the package, so it's just going to be interesting to see how these things balance out right out of the package. Okay, so the first prop I've got here on the balancer is the Sky Spirit 15.6. So I'm just going to kind of tap it like that, and we'll just kind of let it do its thing. And I'll come back to this when it's done moving around, and we'll just see where it kind of, maybe this one won't take so long. Let's just keep an eye on it here. Maybe it'll balance out really quickly. I mean, I don't have this thing set up so I can completely spin the prop. Now, maybe the 10.5 I can do that on. I think I can, but we'll see. So it looks like this one is stopped right now, and it looks like it's perfectly balanced to me. I mean, I don't really know what else you can do to these things to balance them. If you can't make it rotate all the way around, you just kind of touch it and then just let it find its own center of balance. But I've also noticed that sometimes many of these lighter props, they'll still be balanced, but yet they'll still sit like this, and it's just a factor of the weight of the engine, or the weight of the blade is really not enough. So that one's quick. That was pretty quick. So I'll say that's a good balance. I like that. Let's try this. Let's try this Falcon. Let's try the Falcon one next. Now, as I said, this Falcon is a 13.8. Maybe these things won't take so long to... Okay, so let's just kind of tap it and see what happens here. Okay, so I never like to see that. That's usually not a good thing, but I mean, maybe it'll do the same thing on the other side too. I don't know. See, this is how I don't really know what to make of this. This is one of those props where you could probably put it just at any angle and it'll just sit there, except here. So it looks like this one might be a little out of balance. Let me just kind of do a little bit of an angle here. Yeah, see, I'm not sure what to make of this. Let's just set it level and see what happens. I almost think in some instances that might be the better way to go, is just set it level instead of sitting there twirling it. Set it level and just see what happens. Now, there is no breeze of any kind in here, so that is telling me that this prop is not properly balanced. Let's try this one again, doing that same methodology, where we just kind of set it level and see what it does. See if that is a good means of judging the balance of a prop. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I am not a propeller balancing expert by any means. Do I do it? Yes. And would I consider all of these probably balanced? Yes. I don't fly, and it doesn't really matter to me so much about how balanced a prop is, because it doesn't affect the flight performance. If a prop is so out of balance that it actually causes a lot of engine vibration, then obviously there's an issue. But I've yet to run into too many of my engine runs where a prop has been the reason why. So now I'm not so certain. Did I have this way before? Does it matter? Is it my table? Because this prop was doing the same thing. Is it my table that's doing this? Maybe my table isn't level. All I can say is this looks like it's pretty well balanced to me. Let's put this Zor on here real quick and see what this one does. I mean, balancing can be impacted by a lot of things. The levelness of the table, I guess. I didn't think my table was that out of level. So this one is looking pretty heavy on that tip. I mean, it went even from horizontal. That's going pretty heavy there. So that thing we can do is maybe turn this thing around this way and see if it follows going this way now. So I don't know what to say about this. Did I change anything just by flipping it over? No, it was still the same. Okay, so this Zor seems to be imbalanced. This blade seems to be heavier than the other one. A lot heavier? I don't know. Define a lot. When it comes to a propeller and high precision flying and stuff, this is probably a lot. Is this something that I would be concerned about doing what I do? Probably not. Let's try this Sky Spirit. Let's see. So yeah, so this one we can actually rotate it around and see what happens to it. Okay, so that one kind of seemed to want to. Let's put this bolt. How do I do that to make it different? A little confusing. There you go. See, look at that. Does that mean that blade is heavier? Does it mean my table is just tilted? Now look at it. It's just sitting here perfectly level. If a prop just will sit there perfectly level like that, I would call it good. I mean, because the lighter a prop is, the more impacted it's going to be by, more impacted its balance is going to have by even the minimal amount of drag on these things, on these wheels. There should be very minimal drag, which would mean that this is a pretty precision balancer, which is what it's called, a high precision balancer. But I don't know. So anyway, let's wrap this up. Okay, so in conclusion of this first portion of the testing or reviewing of these props, which another video will be made here in a week or two whenever I get a customer's engine in to actually run the 15.6. As far as the 10.5, I really need to check to see if I've got another 10.5 of any caliber, whether it be a nylon or wood. I believe I do. I'm not sure how good of condition the prop is in, because 10.5 is a rather odd prop size. Typically, at least in this country, and for most of my modeling career when I was flying 40 size engines, I was always using a 10.6. So a 10.5 is a little bit different, but I was thinking maybe I'll put this on the OS 35 FP engine that I ran a few weeks ago, because that engine just ran beautifully, and I think a 10.5 would be good for that, just as a good size for that engine. And like I said, I think I got another 10.5 somewhere. So the bottom line is, would I recommend these props based on what I've seen here today? Absolutely. These are beautiful, and I think the price point, even with shipping, is not outrageous compared to what you might pay for a Zor. I mean, you can go online and compare prices, but I mean, these seem very reasonably priced, and they look like incredibly beautiful, high quality. The epoxy coating is just absolutely spectacular. I really like it a lot. The only thing I would say here is that it looks like some of the printing here is not as crisp and clear as it could be, but that's really, really nitpicking. I mean, I'm really nitpicking there. Other than that, I think these things are just absolutely beautiful. And I want to thank you, Artem, for reaching out to me and allowing me to show your product, because These are fantastic. I really enjoy looking at these. And like I said, even when I'm done with this, I'm probably going to just set this out and display it like I do on my engines because it's just that beautiful.